welcome back to Ready to Drive Anywhere, and today we've got ourselves a Hilux camper build. This one's a bit special as the customer was international. We helped through the whole process with buying it to then fitting it out. So let's jump into it. So this is an ex-Polo camper hire vehicle. So it came to us stock with nothing fitted to it, no bull bar, nothing, and then we just built it up from there. So it had a basic electrical system in it, just a 100 amp hour battery, and then just a 240 volt inlet, but the only way you could get 240 volt power is by plugged into shore. So there was no multi-plus or anything, so we've gone and added all that, but we'll start at the front. So it's got a jungle bull bar on it. Inside there, we've got the Sabre winch. It's a 10,000 pound winch. We changed out the Fairlead for a red one. And then the Sabre winch comes with a big box for all your controls, and then it had the plug on top. That wasn't gonna fit with the bull bar itself. So we decided to get rid of that, and then we just mounted the solenoid just under here. And then we moved the actual manual control in case the fob ever fails, and we just moved that up into here. So we just made a custom bracket and moved that up. Had to extend the cabling, but yeah, it wasn't too big of a deal. Then also on the bull bar, we've got the Hella 21.5 inch light bar. This is the black series. They look pretty nice, and yeah, bang for buck, they're a really good light. So that's a great option there. We've also got the GME antenna. This is paired with the XRS 370 just inside, which we can show you once we get into the cab. Apart from that, that's it for the bull bar wise. So let's jump into the engine bay. So we've got our isolator here for the winch, and then we've swapped out both these batteries. So we just have one single battery. We've gone to the Get Home Safe kit, and then we've also upgraded this battery just to a new one. So on top of the start battery, we've just got our MIDI fuses here. That's just the battery link that then will go to the other battery to actually link the two batteries together. And then up on the bracket here that comes with the dual battery tray is just another twin MIDI, and that's just powering the DC-DC Orion that's in the camper, and then our light bar. And then just on the other side of that is the SPI Red Arc isolator, and then we've got the switch located inside the cab that we can just press that and it'll link the two batteries together. So we've just chucked some fender flares just on the front two wheels here. Since we've gone to some bigger tires, they just stuck out a little bit, so we've thrown these flares on just to cover them up so it's still legal, and then with the bull bar sticking out a little bit, it just covered that gap a bit. So they look pretty good, just helps finish off the car. Then suspension wise, so I've got a 2-inch lift. It's got the old man Emu lift kit, so it's a 2-inch all around, and I just gave that a bit extra height. Before I had the lift and tires, it was quite low, but now that it's got this, it's just lifted it up and then makes it so much more capable off-road. So it's just got the steel wheels, and then we've got the KO3, so these ones are actually pretty new. I wasn't actually aware they were even out until it got fitted onto this one. So these are brand new tires. BFGs have always been a great tire, KO2s, but KO2s have been around for a while and they probably got a little bit outdated with their technology. A lot of other tire manufacturers caught up, but now they've released these KO3s, they're right back to the top again. So it just helps finish it off, gives it that better extra height, and just makes it a lot more capable off-road. But we just opted for the 2-inch lift. You can obviously for a Hilux go a 3 or 4-inch, but with the camper, you don't want to go too high. It just starts to get too top heavy. So having that 2-inch lift and then some slightly bigger tires, it just really gets you that bit of extra lift and then more capability off-road, and just really ties it off and makes it look great. So we didn't do the suspension ourselves. That's one of the few things that we don't really want to get into. I think that's something you need for a specialist. So ARB completed the lift kit for us, so we just organised that, got it sent to ARB. They also completed a GVM upgrade for it, so it's now at 3490, I believe the GVM is, or 3450, around there. So that just allows you to obviously carry a bit more. Now it's got the camper and it's going to get loaded up, you're probably going to go over that GVM. So these wheels and tyres came from Bob Jane, so they organised that for us, so we just got it there and then they did the rest. So same thing as the suspension, we just organised it and then we let the experts do their thing on that. So that's that for the wheels and tyres. Apart from that, and also on the other side here, we've fitted a secondary diesel fuel filter. It is normally located where the second battery is, but since we've got the second battery there, it doesn't fit there. So we just got an extra hose because it came with just the one. That was only long enough for one run. Got an extra hose, added that in, and then just fabbed up the bracket just to make it fit there, and yeah, fits pretty nicely there. That's everything inside the engine bay. Let's just jump around the back and see what we've done there. On the back, we just fabbed up a little bracket so we can mount the MaxTrax Extremes. They're just on the pins, and then we just put a couple sandwich plates on each side. It is a fiberglass canopy, so we didn't feel comfortable just bolting straight into it, so we've made a sandwich plate, and then that way it'll have that to keep the contact, and then it won't tear off. So that's a good little option there, and it's a nice position out the way. It's really dead space, but it's now usable with having the MaxTrax table, the MaxTrax holder there. Down here we've got two Anderson plugs. So the black one is just an output, so we can run a compressor or run the Starlink, whatever the customer decides to use that for. And then the red one is our solar. So being a pop top, and it's already been quite a heavy pop top, we can't really put much solar on there. You probably could fit a 200 watt panel, but it still becomes quite heavy. So the customer's opted for no solar on the roof, and they're just gonna run a solar blanket straight to this plug here. That's paired to the MPPT just inside. We've also got the camera here. There's a Wolf box reverse mirror camera that we've mounted inside it. And that's just the camera for it there, but we can show you the actual unit once we jump inside the cab. Let's just head around the side and check out the battery. So we've opted to put the battery in here. We could have put it inside, but then that's inhabitable space, so we'd have to put it into a battery compartment. They're quite bulky, so the customer was happy to utilize the one under here, this compartment, so we decided to chuck the battery in there and then fabbed up a bracket. So let's check it out. So this is just the 200 amp hour Amtron battery. Just made a little bracket there so that we can mount it securely, and then we've just got our battery cables there that just run through and then up into the electrical box that's inside the camper. Also on this side, that's the 15 amp 240 volt inlet that came with the camper. So as I was saying before, the only way you could get 240 volt power previously was you had to plug directly into that, and then you could run a couple GPIOs that were inside. Now that we've got the multi-plus, you can either plug into here to get that charge from the shore, or just run straight off the battery through the multi-plus. That's it for this side. We'll jump around the other side and see what we've done there. So just on this side, it already came with this awning light here, but we've just added a couple extra lights for a bit more lighting power here. So these are the National Lunar lights. They've got our fabricated National Lunar brackets on there just to protect them and then get them on that correct angle for us. So we've just got one at the front and then one at the back, paired with the already OEM awning light. Just up here we've got an outlet, such as a 10 amp outlet, fully waterproof, so perfect for outside. Just in here, we've done a few other things. So when you drop this down, this originally just had a cutting board on it. We've just chucked a stainless plate onto it, just so that it just cleaned it up a bit better. And then we've got our two water outlets here. So the top one is your water in to the tank that's inside that we can show you once we jump in there. And then the bottom one is just your outlet. So we can easily get water. And then once you lift this up, you can chuck your little tub in there, and then you can do your washing up, so it's a nice and convenient location for that. Then you've got, this already came with the camper as well, it's just a little cooker. So you just open that up there. Chuck it in, and then you got your gas cook there. There's a couple bottles just on the underneath here that you can just grab out, and then there's a nice little hook there that you just hook it on, plug it straight into your cooker, and just makes for a nice convenient way to cook. So there's a pretty nice setup here. That's just about it on the outside. Let's jump inside the camper and then check it out. So there's a few changes in here. We'll just start just inside the door here. So originally there was a switch for your awning lights, but because we've relocated this other switch panel here that was located on the inside, which we can show you once we get in there, this became redundant. There's no need for it because the awning light switch is right here. So we decided to get rid of that and then just put a little cover plate on it. This switch panel here controls your interior lights, the awning lights, your fridge, and then your water pump. So That's a pretty nice location to put it. It's easily accessible from inside and outside, so that's a great location. And then just on top of that, we've got the Touch 50. So we have a full Victron setup in here, and then that's just the same location, nice and easy to get to, easily accessible from inside and out. So if it's raining, you can still easily get to it on the inside. You never have to go outside, but if it's beautiful weather, like most of the time it is in WA, then you can access it from outside. Obviously, same features as the Touch 50 always has your input from your DC-DC that you can check, has your solar input. You can then monitor your AC loads and then any of your other outputs, and then you can also turn the inverter on and off from there. So it's a great unit, that Touch 50. So let's head in and then check out what we've done. So on the back side of the MaxTrax holder here, the customer was just asking if they could get a couple tie down points here so they can store some chairs and anything else. So just on the back of those MaxTrax pins, we just screwed on a couple of these lugs, and then that way you can run a bungee cord through them and then easily tie some stuff down to there. So that's a great idea that the customer had. Then just here, so originally it just had a chest fridge. It was a 40-litre angle. Obviously that's not a very big fridge space, and then doesn't really maximize it because it really just came to about here, and then all this was just really dead space. So we've opted for the 130 Bushman fridge upright. They're a lot easier to use, and then we've tripled our storage. So that's a great unit there. Easily accessible, once again, from inside and out. You just go straight up the steps and you can easily get to it. But if you just wanted to stay inside, extremely usable for inside as well. We've got our custom bracket that we've just made to mount it. So it just bolts straight onto the bottom side here, goes all around the top, and then clamps it together. We've then also underneath just add a strengthening bar to it, just so that it's not going to go anywhere. So that just got it a bit more sturdier for us, and yeah, it works well there. Up here, so on each side, we've got the same thing, a his and her setup. So we've got a Sirocco fan, then we've added these GPOs here, and then we've also added the dual USBs there. So you've got the USB-A, USB-C. That way when the bed slides out, which we can show you in a little bit, you can easily charge your phone there, whether you want it to be off the AC power or just off the 12 volt. And then you can easily have that fan moved, and then you can get onto you while you're sleeping. So that's a great location there. You just got them on left and right. And then just on here, so we've chucked another stainless cover plate on. This used to be a sink, but when that bed comes out, that sink is covered. The customer's gonna opt to leave the bed out for pretty much the majority of the time. Just makes it for an easy setup for us. So that sink was made redundant, so we just got rid of all that plumbing, got rid of the sink and the tap, and then we just put the stainless cover plate over it just to keep that nice and clean. Just under here is where we've put our custom 90-litre stainless water tank. So our fabricator in-house drew this up on CAD and then got it all laser cut and then welded it together. So this, as you can see, maximizes this space. Once again, it wasn't a super usable area due to that bed being out, and then it's quite low down to the ground. So throwing this 90-litre tank in here really helps to maximize the space. And now we're getting a big 90 litres of storage. Originally it had a little plastic container. It was probably only about 30-40 litres. The downside to it is you always had to come in, manually fill it up, and then you could never really tell that it was empty. So it was just a bit of a hassle. This way, we've chucked our 190 ohm water sender in it, and that's paired to the Touch 50, so you can monitor all your water levels. And then with that infill on the outside, just makes it super convenient. And then you can always monitor how much water you got. You're never going to run out. But we've also tripled our water capacity. We're having a 90-litre tank under there, so that was a great option for that. And then just the water pump is the OEM one that came from the camper itself. It's just tucked up in there. That was working fine, so there was no need to replace it. So we've just gone ahead and just used that and just plumbed our tank into that through to our outlets. And just here on the right hand side, we have the cover plate that I was referring to before, just here. So that had that switch panel that would now move to the other location, and then it also had a little 12 volt meter on it. once again, that 12-volt meter became redundant once we went to the Touch 50. So there was just a couple holes there, so we've just decided to put a cover plate there. It just looks a bit better than having a couple holes. And then we'll have to open this up and then show you what we've done in there. So just located down in this compartment, had the one RCD. As I was saying before, it just had that one inlet, so you only required that one RCD. But now that we've gone to the Multi-Plus, it does require the two RCDs, one for that incoming power to the Multi-Plus, and then one for the outgoing power from the Multi-Plus. So we've gone ahead and changed that out, put that in, and then this was already a factory GPO that was already there. That's now just being rewired to this RCD on the outcoming, and then that's fixed that up. That's everything that's under there. We'll jump into this electrical compartment and check out what we've done there. So just underneath this cushion, there's another compartment. That's where we put our Multi-Plus, our MPPT, the Orion, the Servo, and then the Egon DC hub. So we'll start off with the Multi-Plus. So we've got a 2000 watt Multi-Plus located right at the back there. And then we've got our Servo, then we've got our Orion, then the MPPT, and then we've got our Victron Smart Shunt, and then next to that is just the Mega Fuse holder. And then up from there is the DC hub. So that's where we've wired in all our 12-volt accessories with the USBs, your fans, the servo itself, and then the switch panel and that over the other side. So that's just a nice kit. They all integrate really well with each other, and they all go to the Touch 50, so it makes it very easy to monitor everything. And then that way, if you ever have any dramas, this is very easy to get to, and pretty simple system, as it all just runs through that Egon. Every time you have a blown fuse, it'll tell you. It'll just have a red light on it, so it just makes it super easy for troubleshooting. So yeah, it's a pretty good system. Just located over here on the other compartment is another 240 outlet. That, once again, that was a factory one, so that only used to work when you were plugged in. Now all GPOs will run off that Multi-Plus, so whether you're plugged in at shore or you're just running straight off your batteries, you'll always have 240 volt power. Located just up here, we've got two more National Lunar lights. So originally they had these big square lights. They weren't really the greatest. They just came straight out and just shot you in the face. We just got our lights just on a slight tilt, just to tilt them down a little bit so they're not shining straight into your eyes. And then same features as all our National Lunar lights, is you just hit them a few times to make them brighter. And then if you want to change it to amber, you just hold it and then it'll go to amber, same thing, then you can change the brightness. So pretty good system. And then they're also switched off via that switch panel there. So if you just want to quickly switch them off as you're leaving, that's nice and easy. You don't have to manually turn each one off. And that also goes for the same on the outside there in the awning. So probably what I think is probably the best feature when it comes to these campers is they're just really convenient, and that's what this bed is. So it folds up, so if you want to have a nice seating area here, you've got plenty of storage. You've got a table there, you've got some nice places where you can store drinks and so on. But then when you want to go to bed, or if you just want to just keep it always out, it's super simple to set up. So you just grab it and you'll just pull it straight out like so. Then it's got these little rubber stoppers here, so you can't pull it out the whole way. Now you know you've gone the whole distance, and then you've just got your two-fold mattress here. You'll just chuck them out, throw your bedding in, and you're just straight to bed. Probably the biggest benefit is like rooftop tents. Probably the downside to those is you've always got a big ladder. You've got to walk up this. As you can see, it doesn't come up very high, so it's very easy to get in and out of. You can use this as a little step up if you wanted to, or you could just chuck a little step under there, and it just makes it very easy to get in and out. You're no longer climbing up and down ladders, and like I said before, if you wanted to, you could just always leave this out. You never have to set up bed, it's always there ready to go. So if you've had a long drive at night and you just want to park up, you just want to go straight to bed, this is a great convenient way to do that. There's no having to set up anything, it's just there ready to go. That's everything here on the inside of the camper. So let's jump into the cab and then see what we've done in there. So there's not too much on the inside here. So we've added this rear view camera monitor that was supplied by the customer. That's Wolfbox. This has a rear camera, and then it also has an inbuilt dash camera, so you can get front and back, and it's always recording front and back, and it's just got a little SD card in it. It's also got a GPS monitor here, so we've just put that right next to the actual mount for the mirror. Just was a great location to put it, obviously needing that clear sky. to work effectively, and then it's about the same size as the mount itself, so it looks pretty nice from the outside. You can't really tell, so yeah, it's a pretty good spot for that. We just added dual USBs here on the side, and then located next to that is the XRS RJ45 pass-through. So that's just a nice convenient location. The customer wanted it in the middle just so that both the passenger and the driver can access it. We always opt to try to put it on that left-hand side. It just keeps it away from your knees when you're driving, and then that way you can't get caught up with it. Especially when you've got a manual, you want to try to keep a distance away, so that's a great location to put that there. And then we've got some stuff on the right-hand side that we can check out. So on the right-hand side, we've got another dual USB here, and then located just on the right-hand side of that is the light bar switch for that. So, and then just up from there is our battery link switch. Yeah, so we completed the fit out of everything apart from the wheels and tyres and the suspension, as I mentioned earlier. This customer came from the Netherlands and has entrusted us to do the whole build. So if that's something that also you need help with, then we can definitely help you if you're whether overseas or over east or here in WA. We can definitely help you with any electrical installation, or if you're after a full build like this one, that's something that we can definitely help organise and then complete the fitment for you, and just makes it a lot easier for yourself. That way you don't have to worry about anything. You can just pick the car up and then you're ready to drive anywhere. So it's a great service that we offer, and that's something that interests you, then contact us at info@perthroad.com.au and we can definitely help you out with any of your requirements. This car is now truly ready to drive anywhere, and that's that for this one, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.